Beehive Sports Podcast, powered by Swing Juice. Visit swingjuice.com. Use promo code Beehive20. 20% off your golf and MLB PA apparel. We're back, Season 2, Episode 1. It'll be easy to keep track of for a while. Today, we are going to discuss a little bit about what you guys have to look forward to moving through Season 2, some plans we have and all that. We're going to get into Sketty's first dumb take of Season 2, which he disagrees. So we're starting the show with an argument. It's going to be great. Baseball's back. We're going to get into that a little bit as the lockout finally comes to an end. An agreement was made between the MLB owners and the MLBPA. March Madness is here. We got special guest Joe Pellegrino coming on to give us Pelly's picks for the March Madness tournament. Then we're going to get into three. Sorry, Mom. 3 fast facts in sports history. And that's going to take us right into our newest segment, Sketty On. I'm really looking forward to that. I think people will enjoy how that's going to go. Then we have Things That Sting jam-packed. We have a new format for that as well. We're going to go over exactly how the Things That Sting will be run. But basically, we're going to go with 3 main stories and then a rundown where we're just going to briefly give a take on multiple stories. But today we have Cain Velasquez. We have the New York Liberty being fined $500,000. And what was the last one? Brittany Griner detained in Russia. So that's going to, and then like I said, we're going to have a bunch of stories that go right along with that. As we get into My Hive, we are going to discuss a little Celine. We're going to get right into the NFL free agency and the frenzy that's happening with all of that. We're back, everybody. Let's go.
Welcome to the Beehive Sports Podcast. Here are your hosts, Joe and Sketty.
The buzz is brought to you by
Busch Light.
Busch Light. We got a Busch Light sponsorship. I don't know how. We know some people. Those people know some people. And Busch Light is now a proud sponsor of the Beehive Sports Podcast. That was the most exciting news I had ever heard in my life yesterday. Fast ones. Lattes.
Love it.
My favorite beer. I still order this no matter what restaurant I go into, knowing they don't have it. Fuck them. They should get it if they knew it was good for them. So, in collaboration with Paul Mangione, we were able to obtain Busch Light as a sponsor for Season 2. There's going to be several Busch Light giveaways, not just beer, but some merch. We have a lot of plans for Season 2, which is, like I said, what we're going to start out with, just talking about a little bit. We have a few new sponsors. You can see on the ticker, Pub 302, artist formerly known as Ralphie's. I went in there for lunch with you, actually, and Paul, for the TBSP meeting. And hot damn, they made that place way less smoky. They got some nice... whatever the hell those things are called. They look like tires.
Yep.
And
fans or whatever, yep.
Revamped the menu. It's looking good in there. Felina's done a really nice job. So we thank her for jumping on for a few episodes as a sponsor. What else we got? It was a good month off.
Yeah. A lot going on. Busy. Semi-productive.
You were productive.
I was, semi-productive.
Semi-productive.
Say super. Yeah.
So since Busch Light is a proud sponsor, I'm going to crack one and have a drink of it. Refreshing, ice cold. The mountains start to sing when you drink Busch Light, which I might have stole that line from a commercial that we're going to play here sometime soon, but whatever. So, good month off. We did have a meeting, like I said, met with several of our sponsors. We met and hashed out what we're going to do, the new format. We added a new segment. We kind of got things a little more structured for how season 2 is going to go. I guess basically, we have one show a week. It's not a daily show. So it's really hard to cover everything. Even some of the stuff that like you want to cover, you just can't because there's other stuff that has better talking points. And, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just rough to get to everything.
Right. And that's what I feel bad because sometimes we get like people sending us messages or texts or whatever and just saying, hey, you guys should talk about this or whatever. And it's just hard to get everything, all in one show and not make the show, 3-4 hours long. But one day when Busch Light is paying us to do this full time, we will cover whatever you guys want.
Absolutely.
That's the plan. But for now, they're sponsoring us and they're still making money off of us because we're going to buy more than we receive.
Absolutely. It's still a net loss.
Can't win them all. Okay. So, like I said, giveaways. We're going to do several giveaways coming up. We're still putting together the prize pack for the tournament bracket, which I didn't even look to see how many entries we ended up with. Do you know? Did you look?
I have no idea. No idea. Didn't look.
So we need to talk about Sketty's. Yeah. See, this is what I'm saying. We want to talk about everything. It is a hideous jacket, but it's St. Patrick's Day. You're supposed to wear, green, be festive. Even if you're not Irish. Right. Like I put on the post, even if you're not Irish, most people today are pretending that they are.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, back to the giveaways. We're going to put together a prize pack for the bracket that we put together. And Paul approached me with some ideas yesterday. There's lots of stuff in the Busch Light catalog that we're going to get to pick from and, do some giveaways that way. We're going to have tentative plan. We didn't talk about this much at the meeting, which we probably should have more, but we're planning on sometime this summer. Haven't hammered down a date yet, but we're going to do basically like Capital One's the match, but it's going to be the Beehive Sport. Well, whoever sponsors it, I guess it'll be the match. And it's me versus Sketty, and we're going to live stream 9 holes. Try and get, whole sponsorships, and the winner gets to choose the money donation to a charity, I think is the plan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. If I win, I might just use that money to pay for my chocolate milks at the pepper mill because they're so expensive.
I don't think we're going to have a sponsorship that big. It's going to be tough to pull off that kind of money.
I'd have to, yeah. I might get a small. I might be able to afford a shot glass of chocolate milk. Anyways, so new segment, Sketty On, which is going to be following sports history. Sketty is going to be on whatever he's on that week. It could be sports related. It could not be. We don't know what it's going to be. He's just telling me the basis of it, and it's all going to be natural reaction from me too, because I do not know what words he's going to speak. So it should be fun for everybody because you are assembling quite the following of people who like to listen to your bullshit. So
happy I can contribute.
And actually, Pelly, who's going to be on here shortly, once we get through your dumb take in baseball, I think Pelly, doesn't he get credit for the segment name because didn't they start that way back when?
It was like him and Craig when they would come to the house to watch the Browns games, and I'd just be spouting off whatever stupid shit. And they said, you just need a podcast. Call it Sketty on Sports and just take your idiot takes out there. People would pay to listen to you be an idiot. And here we are. Busch Light. Yeah, that's right.
Great. So that's, pretty much the gist of what's going on. Like I said, we restructured a little bit of how the segments will be run to try and keep things a little as timely as we possibly can. Of course, it's all content based, so you never know. If we have a down week, then it's going to be a shorter episode if there's not a lot of news going on. But when you take a month off, first episode, you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's pretty cool, I think. But all right. First thing I want to get to before we head into Sketty's first dumb take of season 2. Oh, I forgot I had this banner. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I want to give a quick shout out. Congrats to the girls basketball team.
Yeah.
When Warren Dragons girls basketball wins their second consecutive District 10 title. Ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs in a home playoff game, which was unfortunate. However, it doesn't count, in my opinion, because it was against a private school.
Yep.
And that they should fucking be playing each other. They shouldn't play public schools. That's always been my opinion. We'll have Hagberg on and really get into that some week. Because I'm actually curious what he thinks about that. But I think it's bullshit. If you're a private school and you're plucking from all these public schools to build your dream team, then play all the other schools that do that.
Absolutely. It's kind of a crime by the PIAA that they do that.
That is a crime.
Is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. So with that said, do want to shout out also D9 and D9and10sports.com, who we kind of alternate back and forth little partnership with them in Your Daily Local because they are in cahoots as well. They are broadcasting a live stream tonight at 6:00. Clarion County YMCA All-Star Game. So it's high school 20, I think it's a pool of 20 girls, 20 guys, and they form 4 teams, of course, 2 girls, 2 guys, and then they play an all-star game. But the team captains pick the teams. So it's like a draft.
Very cool. I like that.
I like it too. So Emma Ruhlman from Warren is one of the captains. Riley Childress is also in the pool of players. So it'll be interesting to see if they end up against each other. Brian was texting me about this. He's curious to see if they go against each other or if Emma gets the first pick, if she takes Riley or takes somebody else. So I kind of want to I'm probably going to tune into that later once the video is embedded and watch it and see how that shakes out because I think it'll be pretty neat.
Yep.
On to you, my friend.
I don't have a dumb take, so I'm interested where you're going with this.
Okay, so I put up a post on the Facebook page where I said Chandler Jones this year is the 2022 version of what J.J. Watt did last year during free agency, in which he publicly stated, it's not about money for me. I want to win a Super Bowl. Those words.
Okay.
So then he signs a massive deal where he's getting paid big bucks to go to the Raiders,
who were in the playoffs last year.
Still not good. And you know that, and I know that. You know they're not going to win a Super Bowl.
So,
we knew Arizona wasn't. But here's where your take was stupid. Because you said, well, he didn't sign with the Rams, so clearly if he was chasing a ring, he would have signed with the Rams. How the fuck was he supposed to know that the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl?
How are you supposed to know the Raiders aren't going to win the Super Bowl?
Because I have a brain and eyes, and I watch the NFL.
Did you? So
because Derek Carr is their quarterback.
Did you think the Bengals had a chance to go to the Super Bowl last year?
I said in the fan rant last year when I represented the Bengals that they have a young team who's trending in the right direction. Did I think they'd make the Super Bowl? Definitely not. But
so where should he have signed? Where should they have signed then?
If he's
what about Von Miller? Is Von Miller this year's J.J. Watt?
No, Von Miller's chasing a ring. And his deal.
Why did he stay?
His
why
deal's
did he
not.
He just won one.
Because they ain't good. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? It's even harder to repeat.
$17.5 million for a 33-year-old edge rusher sure sounds like somebody's chasing money to me.
Sounds like somebody's chasing a ring. Brandon Beam, big baller Beam. What? How? That seemed to work out for the Rams when they picked them up, did it not?
Yes, it did work out for the Rams. They
got lucky that he played well and had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl. You're right. Yeah, it was all luck.
They got lucky. They had Cooper Kupp. That's what they got lucky about.
You can't tell me with a straight face, especially with what the West looks like right now, that the Raiders have a legitimate shot. They might not even make the playoffs, even if they do get better, because that division is just stupid. I still think the Broncos with Russ Wilson finished third.
I mean, you think the Chargers are going to finish second? The same Chargers who didn't even make the playoffs last year?
I think the Chargers Did you see what they've done in free agency?
Yeah, I love the Chargers team. The best thing they could have done was fire their coach.
Fire Staley. I agree with that.
If they fire Staley, I'm all in with you. If they fire Staley, I got confidence in him.
Okay, so no, let me ask you a question. What is chasing a ring then?
Well, I mean, I think all these teams, you don't go sign any. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Hold on, let me be clear before we are both under the. We both know that every team's ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl every year. It's not.
Yeah.
It's never not the fucking goal. You're always trying to do that. So you don't need to say that in your answer. But what is chasing a ring?
Well, here's my take on it. He went to the Raiders, who were a playoff team last year. Potentially, I don't know. I never have big faith in the Raiders, but I'm not one of these guys. Maybe he thinks he can turn it around there. Max Crosby's tough on the other side. Maybe he thinks that makes things easier for him. They can do something. If he would have went to Jacksonville with the way they're handing out money, then I would say, yes, he is fully idiot, not chasing a ring. He's just trying to get paid.
So the cutoff is teams that made the playoffs last year.
I wouldn't say necessarily teams that made the playoffs, but teams that are up on the upswing, I guess, which I think, again, the Raiders, all the pieces are there, it seems to be. And, new head coach, maybe they turn things around. I mean, that team had a lot of adversity last year and still got in. I just don't think it's as bad as you're making it seem. And I learned my lesson because I shit on J.J. Watt last year for saying, what the hell are you doing going to the Cardinals? And like I said, right up until the injury bug hit, they looked like the best team in football. And then Cliff Kingsbury can't coach the second half of the season. Hopkins gets hurt.
That's the ticket right there.
But what I'm saying is it's not like he went to, I'm chasing a ring and then went and signed with the Texans or the Jags or some team that just has no chance.
Texans have Mills Mafia.
They do have Mills Mafia.
Yeah, so they have just as good a shot as anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're going to do it this year.
So, but still, by what you wrote in the comment, okay, now that you're speaking the words into the universe, it makes more sense from where you're coming from. But what you said was, by your logic, based off of your comment, if you don't sign with the team that wins the Super Bowl the following year, then you're not chasing a ring.
Well, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to quantify it as had to go someplace that was going to win the Super Bowl, 31 teams don't win the Super Bowl.
Okay, let me ask you this.
30 teams didn't have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Because you're telling me also that you're kind of using playoff teams as your fine line for what's chasing a ring and what's maybe signing for money. So let me ask you this, real quick. What about Philadelphia? They added that extra. They added those two extra playoff teams, and the Steelers and the Eagles were both just manhandled by their opponent.
Well, I mean, again, I would say, see, now you're in some gray area there. Like, I would not say Philadelphia is a team that could maybe do something, but you never know. With the offseason, they're close. I just don't think Philly was good. Pittsburgh's another one, but maybe if Pittsburgh actually gets a quarterback, they would be okay, or some sort of an offensive line. But like the Chargers are a team, I think, that didn't make the playoffs, that they're on the upswing. You could go there and say you're chasing a ring. Like, that's a team that's on the up. So it's not necessarily a playoff team, but I just don't think the Raiders are like they're not a team that I would say, there's no chance they're going to win it. Let's see NFL. The Bengals were there last year. They're
on my list of teams that definitely don't have a shot next year.
I
have no faith in Derek Carr.
I didn't have faith in Gruden. We'll see what happens now that he's out. Derek Carr might be in Cleveland. You never know. We'll see what happens.
There's word.
There's
some buzz.
It's way too early to be saying teams don't have a chance. Well,
fair.
Some teams.
Baseball. They end the lockout. Some interesting changes in the new CBA. The minimum player. So the goal of the whole thing was to get younger players more money earlier, is what my understanding of the entire thing was. So they did that. Their minimum salary is now a awfully low, $700,000 per year. And it
how they
peaked.
survive.
Yeah, me neither. Peaks at 780 in the final year of the CBA, but they have changed it now to a 12-team playoff format and made rule changes, but those don't go into effect until next season. It's not that they don't count this year, but they're going to have the pitch clock. They're banning the shift, which is complete bullshit, and larger bases to prevent injury or whatever. I've always thought that they could throw an orange bag down on first base just like they do in softball leagues. I don't see why that would be a big fucking deal in baseball. Like,
right.
you're for the plays at first, the close plays, it just makes sense. I don't.
Yep.
And it wouldn't look completely ridiculous. Like, I don't know how big these bases are going to be, but are they going to throw in some fucking 20-inch tires out there or what? Like, what's it going to look like? Sandlot ball?
I think they were, what they say, they were like 15 inches square. Each side is 15 inches. Now they're going to be 18 inches, I believe, on each side. So I mean, it's pretty big.
That's considerable. Yeah, it's
a pretty big increase.
Well, yeah, I mean, so they shortened. Bad news for the Dodgers. Of course, good news for the Dodgers. They got Freddie Freeman. Bad news, they have to play a full season, so they're fucked. But shortened spring training, which they should do that anyways because spring training is stupid, and full season. They're gonna make it all happen. So that's good. I mean, I'm glad. I didn't want. I watch baseball. I watch the Astros and whatnot. I didn't want to see that completely go away all summer, especially because college basketball is winding down now. So I need something to occupy my time while we wait for the draft and while we wait for, training camp and the good stuff of the NFL. With college basketball being in mind, welcome to the show, Joseph Peppers Pellegrino.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming on.
You got it. Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Yeah. It's so far so good. Sketty just got schooled on his stupid Chandler Jones take. So he thinks the Raiders are good. I don't know
what else is new? Right?
Yeah, I know. He confuses me sometimes. Yeah. I know there's a functioning brain up there because nobody knows supply and demand like the chocolate milk king himself.
I was gonna say if you could figure out a way to sell chocolate milk at $4 a cup, you got something cooking up there, right?
$4. Was it on sale the day you went?
Right.
That's a special Pelly price. Right. Bees charge double.
That's bullshit. All right. So, anyways, people might be wondering why we brought Joe Pellegrino on the show today. He's a huge advocate and lover of college basketball. Actually, probably one of the people who I could credit for getting me into it. Because I started playing pickup ball with Pelly. Speaking of pickup ball, Sketty, got to hear your opinion on something real quick.
All right.
I cannot wait.
What?
Oh boy.
I'm going to start taking charges at pickup basketball. What's your opinion on that? And calling it. I'm going to get up and point the other way. Offensive foul. Let's go. My ball.
I fucking love it.
You do?
Absolutely. I would love it. I would love it. You're gonna play with a bunch of scrubs down at the Y that just put their shoulder down and try and run you over. Take the charge, call that shit, and let's go.
That's what I'm saying. My ball.
I'm not above calling travels, any of that bullshit. You guys want to play soccer? Go play soccer. Otherwise, learn to play basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Let's get fit. Yeah, I like the physical aspect of the game. So I told Dave Sherman I was gonna start taking charges. He told me I wouldn't be invited to play basketball anywhere in Warren County ever again. And then I actually missed my opportunity.
You really did.
Yeah, this kid came trucking into me, but I didn't fall. I just stood there. And I think he actually might have taken a little bit of the worst of it. But
you should have still called it. Just because you didn't fall over doesn't mean it's not a charge.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I knocked him to the ground and then called it.
I have to sell it to myself. That's the idea.
No. You watch him flop to the ground and just immediately, yep, charge. Let's go. Give me the ball. Give me the ball and get your weight up, kid.
Good stuff. So yeah. Anyways, Pelly, he runs a bracket every year, big one too. How many entries do you have in that this year?
I think we got 75 this year, which is our biggest yet. A nice little prize pool.
Yeah, definitely. So I've done that probably since I moved back just about every year, and it was really last year that I think part of it was because of the show. Like I was like, I have to watch it so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I really like got into the tournament, and I was like, and of course betting helps with your interest and stuff like that. But I love the tournament. I really got into the tournament. I couldn't quit watching the conference championships this past week. Especially, I mean, it started off with the fucking SoCon in Chattanooga, John Baptist hitting 50-footer to knock Furman out, and Chattanooga's the school I did my internship at, so that's cool. They're in the tournament. That's another guest we're gonna have in the future. Is one of their sports information directors, Jim Horton, who was at the game, sitting on press row. And I don't know if you guys know anything about press row at a high collegiate professional level. You have to remain emotionless. It's very unprofessional if you are showing the bias towards the team you're writing about or the team you represent. Even if you're a sports information director for, say, Chattanooga, if you're sitting at press row, you just watch. You can't cheer, you can't fist pump, you can't jump out of your chair, you can't do any of that shit. It's extremely frowned upon in the sports writing world. I asked him how the hell he did it, because I like with that shot and that moment in the game, and he's sitting courtside. Like, how do you not lose your fucking mind? Right? You punched your ticket to the big show. So I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. No, I would. I sat press row. No, I didn't. I never sat press row. I sat at the scorer's table. That was for UTC versus UT women's basketball. Pat Summitt was, literally 3 feet in front of me. I think I told that story before, didn't I? Where she swore to me.
No, I don't remember that.
Never heard that. So I'm sitting next to Kevin Bridgewater. Kevin Bridgewater played for the men's team. And we're watching the Chattanooga women's versus the Lady Vols. And they called I think it was 16 team fouls on the Lady Vols in the first half. And 20 seconds to go before halftime, they call another one. And Pat Summitt looks me and Kevin Bridgewater dead in the eyes. And she goes, "Are they trying to break some kind of fucking record?" And we were just we're I had no idea what to say to her because I didn't want to be wrong, because she was she's a very, very intimidating presence for sure. So I was I just nodded I think so. Do you think they do? Because if you do, then I do too. I wasn't getting involved in that. Anyways, let's get to it. Pelly has 3 low seeds that he thinks could make a push through the tournament. He has 3 teams he believes are overrated, and then 2 teams that people might not be looking at that he thinks can make a run. We're going to start out with the good low seeds: UConn, UCLA, and Iowa. Go ahead, Pelly.
All right. So
Pelly, Iowa just lost.
I don't want to hear it. Iowa just lost. So
Oh, shit.
Is that the 4th one he said wrong?
You want me to delete that?
All right.
Did Richmond beat them?
They
just
did.
now, yeah. I just got the update.
Just a second ago, they just beat them.
No shit.
I couldn't believe.
Yep.
We're starting with UConn, Sketty. So let's just wait till I get to Iowa. Right. So I really do think UConn is one of my favorite teams in the tournament.
Pelly, you're breaking up a little bit, or else I am.
Sorry,
no, he's breaking up for me too. Yeah.
Pelly, try that again. Now he's frozen.
That's a beautiful place.
That is a beautiful picture.
Screenshot that, somebody.
I'm going to. Oh, he's low. Okay, so we lost him. He'll be back, though. He'll get back in here. Anyways, so Iowa lost to Richmond.
Yep. What were the other ones you were telling me earlier?
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to make him feel bad. I mean, the play-ins, you never know anyways. It's 16 versus 16. So, Richmond wins by 4. So I saw when they took the lead, but I didn't know Here, I'm going to remove him from that until he can load back in. And we'll see. I might have to send him another invite or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, looking at the scores thus far, Memphis did win. I liked Memphis against Boise State. Providence covered the spread. Michigan, do you want to talk about them for a minute?
Yeah, when you were crying to me this morning.
I hate Michigan basketball. I will never cheer for that team. And today I woke up and I told myself, I'm not betting on Michigan. I'm not going to do it. And then I did it. And then they were losing, like, what was it? It was like 28-13 at one point.
13.
Yeah,
You're in full panic mode already.
I did. And I'm better than that. Like, I'm a fucking seasoned vet when it comes to betting. And that just, they were down 28-13, and I was just texting you. I'm like, I hate Michigan. And I'm an idiot because I told myself I was not taking Michigan. They did end up winning by 12. So that's, I mean.
Well, while we kind of got a dead spot waiting for Pelly, the Arizona State story was pretty good too.
No, it wasn't.
That was awesome.
That was tournament. Was that tournament week?
That was conference tournament week.
Yeah,
up 9.
Yeah, they were up. Yeah, and then they lost.
Yeah, they had to cover 7.
No, they were up more than that. They were up like 14.
Yeah, had to cover 7, then lost outright. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. I think he's back. All right, you good?
Yeah. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So
UConn.
Jump back. All right. UConn. They're long. They're super athletic, lanky. They protect the rim. They have 5 guys that can score at any given time, especially Adama Sinago. He can put down 20. He's a 20-10 guy, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Gonzaga looks pretty suspect right now. I don't know if you're watching the game against their 16th seed, Georgia State, but they don't look sharp. UConn in the
up 2 at halftime.
That's weak. You
yeah.
Give us UConn. I think here's a stat I didn't even know before. They rebound 38% of their missed shots. Like, that's astronomical.
UConn does?
UConn does. That's dumb. Like,
that is dumb.
That's insane. So the 5 guys that can really score. Their first round opponent, New Mexico State. They've got a good player on their team. Allen is his last name, I believe. Can give them a little scare. They like to defend. They like to rebound, block shots. I don't think they have it. I think UConn gets a big win there, maybe 10, 15-point win. And then rolling in, they might play Arkansas. They might play Vermont. Tight one. Arkansas shoots terrible from 3. Vermont scores the basketball. They might get an easy roll to the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga and give them a real scare. I don't know if they can beat them. Gonzaga looks tough this year. They're not playing well to start, but might be a little first-round jitters. UConn could give some serious trouble to Gonzaga. UCLA, that's my next team. They have the same team back. They made the Final Four last year. Exact same team. Johnny Zhuang and Jaime Jaquez Jr. is his name. Very good duo. Both of those guys can put the team on their back. They can be the guy that scores 20, 30 points, gets them a W. Honestly, last year, if they would have made the final game, if Jalen Suggs doesn't make that half-court shot.
Yeah, that was
exact same team.
Yeah. Who's the point guard? The little dude with the long hair?
With the fro. Yeah.
I love it. He's tough.
He plays tough. They play
good.
Tough,
they're good.
Physical basketball. The West Coast doesn't get as much love as they should. I don't know if it's just because of the broadcasting. Nobody really sees the West Coast.
Yeah, their games are on at fucking 11:30 at night.
Right. Yeah. Arizona, UCLA. Let's watch it at 11 at night. Like, we all work in the morning. We can't do that. But
right.
They might be, just because it's the West Coast. I think they're getting kind of underseeded there at a 3. Very good team. They shoot the ball well from 3. And they got a great draw with Baylor. Baylor is a banged-up 1 seed. UNC could really put a big scare into Baylor. They attack the rim. Typical, even though Roy Williams isn't there anymore, typical, go after offensive boards, try to get the ball. UNC could really beat up Baylor. UCLA might have a tough one against St. Mary's in the second round, but I can see them beating St. Mary's, beating UNC in an upset, and making the Elite Eight, and really giving Kentucky or Purdue a tough out there. They could make the Final Four very easy as a 4 seed. I think they're underseeded.
Pelly, do you look at people's brackets to see who they picked?
No, I not until maybe after tomorrow I'll do it and just see how many people picked Gonzaga. I bet you 70% of the people picked Gonzaga this year. If I had to guess,
I'll bet you nobody picked who I picked to win it all.
See?
Nope.
No.
Phi Slamma Jamma, baby. Houston Cougars.
Oh my god. No, nobody. Definitely nobody did.
Just wait. Just fucking wait. We're gonna come back to this segment. I'm gonna screen record it and post it when they're hoisting or cutting down the nets over there in New Orleans.
I'll give a shout out to Hank Nelson. Year after year, he puts the worst bracket in the whole thing every single year. Scotty can contest to this.
Yeah.
And this year I'm reading. I did read through his because he told me to do it, and I'm reading. So he has Jacksonville State multiple games. So Jacksonville State to the Sweet 16 over Auburn, over USC.
Well, I think you have them here in your next bit, but I'll talk about Auburn a little bit too. But go ahead with the overrateds: Providence, Arkansas, Auburn.
So I'm on Providence right now. They did win today. They were in a tight one against South Dakota State.
Yep.
South Dakota State scores a lot of points. That's a matchup nightmare for Providence. Providence plays that in-your-face defense. They press a lot. But playing a fast-paced team that scores a lot of points like San Diego State, if they break that press, that's a lot of easy buckets for that team. Ed Cooley won a tight one today. Yeah, they broke open the game. Providence broke the game open. South Dakota State, came back, cut it to 3 points, and actually fouled very late in the game.
A 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Terrible.
It was real bad.
But they were right there. I mean, they had the chance for an upset. So, win for Providence right there, but a tough first-round game, and they were they were going into a tight game, I thought, against an Iowa team that would beat them up pretty good. But obviously, Richmond is the better team. Who knows? Richmond might be that Sweet 16 out of that little area right there. Arkansas, that's my next one. Similar issue as Providence. Vermont is not a bad team at all. They score a lot of points. They are the third in the nation in offensive efficiency. They take care of the ball. They get the shot they want as a team, and they shoot at a high percentage. So would not be surprised to see Vermont win that game. Kind of almost a similar aspect to UMBC. When UMBC beat Virginia, the 16 over the 1 in 2018, UMBC goes up 15 points. A Virginia team that averages 62 points a game and just plays stout defense, 15 points is – you're never going to come back from that. So for that, Arkansas shoot like 20% from three, and they like to shoot. They're bricklayers all day long. So who knows? I mean, upsets happen. I think they're going to underachieve, and either way, I think UConn buries them in the next round, either way. My last one on that one is Auburn. When I say Auburn, as a 2 seed, I think they're underachieving. So when you're in a 2 seed, your final game, Final Four, that your aspirations are high. They're limping into the tournament. They're not playing well the last month if you follow the sport. Don't get me wrong, they're a great team. Jabari Smith is a top 3 pick. Walker Kessler is a UNC transfer. He's the best rim protector in the country, and there's no doubt about it. It is going to be hard to score on Auburn. But they have a tough out against a USC team who is one of the best teams in the Pac-12. Mobley's brother, Evan Mobley's brother, Isaiah Mobley, he's one of the best players in the Pac-12. He's going to score a lot of points. That team is underseeded at a 7. Tough out. They have Wisconsin is a tough out there too, and Kansas. for a team with Final Four aspirations, they've got a long road ahead of them. The way they're limping in right now against the weaker part of the SEC, I don't know if they got it in them.
I think Auburn stinks.
Okay, you'll just take the words out of my mouth. That works.
They do. They have, like you said, they played bad this last month, but particularly they play shitty when they're not playing in a place called Auburn Arena. Anytime they've been away from home in the last 45 days or so, they have played like complete shit. So I that's one I think I picked them to get bumped early. I don't think I picked Jacksonville State to beat them. I didn't take a page out of Hank's playbook, but I don't. But I think I have them exiting in the round of 32. I'm almost confident of that. But they
either USC or Miami could beat them pretty handily, I think.
Yeah, they just don't play good on the road, and like you said, it was almost like they peaked too soon. They were playing really great basketball beginning and midway through the season, and then it's just been a steady downhill decline since then.
About Bruce Pearl, I just don't like him. I don't know. I just don't care for him. I'm just anti Bruce Pearl. He's a good coach. He's always been a good coach, but I just don't think he has it in him to make that.
He used to coach the Vols, didn't he?
Yeah. And I don't think he has that take the next step approach to his game.
Right.
He's brought mediocre team. Auburn made the Final Four. I want to say it was 2019, I think. Or close to there,
something like that. Yeah, it was recently
with like a 5-seeded team. But he took a mediocre team and took them to greatness. And I just don't think he has the balls to go from like a great team and achieve what they're supposed to do. Personally.
So 2 teams that could make a run, Pelly. You got Notre Dame and Davidson.
All right, Notre Dame. These guys can score. They might be the best team in the country at just flat out, I'm going to score the basketball. They shoot like 40% from 3. Texas is a team. They play Texas right now. I don't know. They've kind of been limping in. Big 12 is kind of, they're not a great conference. Texas is underachieved this year as a whole. Sweet 16 is not out of reach for Notre Dame. I see them beating Texas. Texas Tech would be in the next round. Texas Tech plays that slow.
Pelly.
Yeah.
Notre Dame plays Alabama first.
Alabama. I'm way off. Well, same thing.
Virginia Tech. But honestly, the 2 teams aren't very much different, Alabama and Texas, in the way that they play.
Excuse me. Sorry. Same thing, though. Alabama they play like a fast-paced run, defense, press, whatever you want, in your face. Notre Dame, as long as they can beat that athleticism, they have the skilled players, they have the offense, they have the coaching to get by it, and I think they do. And Texas Tech, right, in the second round would be the 3 seed. They play that slow, methodical. Same kind of premise. If Notre Dame can go and score a bunch of points right away, I don't know if Texas Tech has the offense to keep up with them. I can see going both ways.
Alabama Crimson Tide basketball, shout out, kid from Jamestown.
James Rojas.
James Rojas is his name.
Cool. Shout out that guy. Kid from Jamestown, plays in Alabama. Good for him. That's a big school coming from the Red Raiders,
Yeah. The only thing with Notre Dame, that was an overtime thriller last night against Rutgers. I don't know if they got enough gas in the tank to win 2 more real quick.
Yeah, that did you watch that game?
No, I didn't. I was asleep.
They won as the clock struck midnight on St. Patrick's Day. The Fighting Irish pull it off. Clock strikes midnight. Luck of the Irish. I bet Rutgers. Money line. Whatever.
My next one is Davidson. Davidson has rolled A-10 opponents all year long. They're great at passing, cutting, screening, moving without the basketball. And that generates a lot of easy buckets, especially against a younger Duke team in the second round that, might not see the court like that. They're top 10 nationally in offensive efficiency. The only problem is all they try to do is score. Defensively, they do not care. They just try to outscore you. So I see them beating Michigan State. Michigan State's limping in. Honestly, they're February. I don't know. Michigan State might have won
sucked in February.
They might have won a game in February. I don't know. Not for Tom Izzo, who is like a March powerhouse. Like if you bet against Izzo in March, something's off, right? But they're really limping in right now. I think Davidson probably could have been an 8 or a 9 seed. They get a 10 against a weak Michigan State team. I like the win there, and I like them maybe even beating Coach K in his final game. I don't know. It's gonna be a shootout. To take the over on this one because they're gonna get their buckets. Duke's gonna get their buckets. It's just who outscores the other one because there's gonna be zero defense played in this game.
All right. Yeah, Pelly, you and I talked too. Like and I think it was at basketball where we had like kind of a group of people where we were kind of saying like, who's the clear-cut favorite this year? And there isn't one.
No, not at all.
This year, everybody seems to have a vulnerability somewhere on their roster. And I actually wrote this down. I don't remember what the exact date was, but it wasn't but a couple weeks ago towards the end of the regular season when the Zags, Arizona, Auburn, Purdue, Kansas, and Kentucky, who in that order are ranked 1 through 6, and they all lost on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It's never happened before.
Ever.
So it's pretty wild.
It was that day when you kind of thought, okay, the Zags are really going to be the ones to peter out here, and they're going to be the favorites. And then St. Mary's goes and just it wasn't a W. It was if you watch that game, it was a beating from the second it was tipped off. To beat the Zags, you need to play a slow, very slow, methodical game. And if you let them get out in transition, you're going to lose every time.
Yeah.
If you get that kind of team, like the old Wisconsin teams have passed. Like if you Bo Ryan the game up, if you want to say, because these Wisconsin teams, that's their bread and butter. You're going to beat Gonzaga, I bet, every time. And I don't know what the score is right now.
52-50. They're on upset alert now.
Get them on upset alert right now because somebody at Georgia State knows what they're doing.
It's official.
Right.
Gonzaga is on upset alert at this moment.
Got it. Perfect.
I can make a banner. All right. I think that pretty much wraps us up here. Pelly, thanks for coming on and giving your insight on college basketball. I know you pay way more attention to it than I do, but I'm trying. I'm getting into it. I like it. And it makes me respect my hate for the NBA more because these kids are fucking playing hard and they play defense and it's all the things that the NBA isn't. And that's what I love about it. So, Pelly, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
We'll see how the tournament progresses here in the next couple of weeks. We might have to have you back on to talk about, whoever's remaining. And maybe we'll see if some of the teams that you talked about, if they're still around too, we can bring that up. So
maybe. I don't know.
All right, brother.
I hope so. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Peppy.
Cool. Yeah, that was Joe Pellegrino with Pelly's picks. He gave you some teams to look after. Of course, everybody's brackets had to be in now anyways, but if you're a gambling man, you might want to take a look at some of these squads. Yeah, that'd be crazy if I'm going to keep updating that score because I'm really curious to see how that shakes out. If a 6-team beats a 1 to start this tournament, it would be basically exactly how I felt like this whole season has gone for college basketball. All right. We're going to take a quick break. The Buzz is brought to you by Busch Light. I got to come up with some we got to work on some catchphrases for Busch Light.
Correct.
We'll figure it out.
We got to do a little better. We got it.
We'll figure it out.
Whenever you crack open a Busch Light, the mountain starts singing.
It's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you.
What is going on?
Hit it, Giant Kenny G.
so smooth.
Head for the mountains of Bush Light Beer.
Hi, this is Brian Hagberg, and I wanted to take a moment and tell you about our new website, yourdailylocal.com. Your Daily Local is your new home for news, sports, and events in Warren County and beyond. Our goal is to cover the people, places, events, and happenings that matter to you in a variety of ways, including writing, video, and audio. And the best part? All of our content is available for free. Head to yourdailylocal.com to get the news you need when you need it.
Let's take a look back at this week in sports history.
This week in sports history brought to you by Your Daily Local. Visit yourdailylocal.com for the news you need when you need it. All right, we got 3 fast facts. Trimming things down, tightening things up. We got it, it's still here. We didn't get rid of this segment. So I still get my allowance.
I was going to say, your mom's not going to kick your ass. That's great.
Not going to kill me. All right, so we're starting out with number 1, 1950. Oh, by the way, usually it's this week in sports history. Yeah. I made sure our 3 facts were St. Patty's Day. It happened today. Okay. So today in 1955, the Richard Riot, following a violent on-ice altercation in which Maurice Richard hit a linesman, the NHL hands down a rest of the season suspension because this guy beat up a ref, basically.
Okay.
So fans in Montreal believed that it was because of Maurice Richard's French-Canadian ethnicity. Because apparently, which we'll briefly speak of it. I'm not going to get into it. But the NHL president then attended the Habs' first game following after the suspension was handed down, which so happened to be on St. Patrick's Day. And his presence in Montreal sparked a riot in which fans caused $100,000 worth of damage. 37 people were injured and 100 people were arrested. It didn't stop until Maurice Richard got on. They had him go to a radio station where he announced to the people, please stop doing this. I'm accepting my penalty and my suspension. And the riot, fizzled out. It's almost like if LeBron would tweet something like that when Minneapolis was on fire, maybe it would help. But, what the fuck do I know? Anyways, this was actually noted as a precursor to the Quiet the Quiet Revolution, it's called. So apparently there was some beef in Quebec about Stat Guy Darren says it's pronounced Richard. Well, then he is French. He's French, yeah. So don't try and church it up. It's Richard. It's Richard, Darren. Anyway, so apparently there was 1960 election, and there was some beef with the French Canadians and the regular Canadians. I don't know. We'll have Miles on to discuss this matter sometime because I don't know anything about
the history breakdown. I like that.
Yeah, the Quiet Revolution. Yeah. Which side was Miles on? That's what I want to know.
I want to be on his side. That's for sure.
Yeah, no shit. All right, 1994. The artist formerly known as the Cleveland Indians announced that there will be no smoking in their new ballpark. Not really relevant to anything. I just saw it and I was like, oh, well, might as well throw it around there. The Jake, which is Progressive Field.
Boo.
Yeah, it's still the Jake. Wait, is that the same place though? Same stadium?
I have no idea.
They didn't build another one since '94.
I don't think so. But
Darren, where you at? Is Progressive Field the Jake? Find that out. Last but not least, Northern Ireland's own Rory McIlroy wins the Players' Championship with 2 late birdies at TPC Sawgrass. You're not a fan of Rory?
I hate Rory.
Why do you hate Rory?
Because like in 2012, people were on crack being like, "Oh my God, Rory's the next Tiger Woods," and I just shut the fuck up. You sound stupid right now. That's what you sound like. And then I just ever since then I hated him. It was just pure hateration.
So you hate him because people liked him.
I hated him because people thought he was the next Tiger Woods. That's why I hated him. If they would have just been like, "Oh, if he's a good golfer," I said, "Yeah, okay, he's all right." Yeah, he was dominant back then for like 2 years.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
That's what you should have said to those people who said that.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
Exactly.
All right, did Darren come at us? Yes, same ballpark. All right, Stack Guy Darren. We appreciate you. Okay, that's it. Your Daily Local. News you need when you need it. Visit yourdailylocal.com. We're going to take another quick break, and we will be back with the brand new segment, Sketty On.
Hey there, everyone. This is Phil with JP Photography. I know. A photography ad on a sports show? I get it. You're here for sports talk and listening to Joe and Sketty's insane rambling.
Wait, what?
But bear with me for a few. I just want to tell you that JP Photography not only offers wedding photography, but also does events, engagements, headshots, family photos, and even some product photography. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for JP Photography or go directly to our website at johnphilphotography.com. That's JONPHIL photography.com.
He's absolute trash.
Sketty On. Let's have a listen to what Sketty's on this week.
0% chance that works.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the listeners. You got to see the thing.
I love that video so much. It was so much fun making that. I had a lot of fun making that. Also, so when I put the commercial together, and of course, thank you, Phil, for JP Photography, who's chipping in with us this year or this season on the sponsorship. But it goes from him talking about his, and it actually, as I will vouch, an amazing photography business. He does such a good job. And the thing is like a lot of people don't know this about Phil, is he's been taking photos and doing this kind of shit from the day I met him, which was when we were like 16 years old. I mean, he literally has always been into photography, and it's no surprise to me that he's as good and advanced as he is. I recommend him to anyone who is looking for somebody locally in Warren. He travels, he does Erie, he does, so check them out. JP Photography or John Phil Photography, JON Phil Photography.com. Awesome business. But we were dying because it goes from his commercial to you saying he's absolute trash. It feels like, what the fuck?
Disclaimer: we're not talking about Phil.
That's what I told him. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, we'll explain that it's not you that Sketty is saying is trash. It's just a Sketty take, and I lined it up that way. I didn't mean to, but once we heard it like play through, I was like on the floor dying laughing, and he's like, "Come on!" But I told him we would explain to everybody that
yes, Phil is not trash.
Phil is not trash. His business is incredible, and like I said, highly recommend him. If you saw our really nice photos we had taken of Austin and Sonia, who modeled our shirts, those were Phil, and obviously in the video ad, all those were pictures that he's done in his portfolio, and he's going to do some more stuff for us as the year goes on, things we want done. He's kind of, I told him that he's kind of like on call now. I'm like, he's indebted to us.
Yeah, I like
it. Me too. I can just call him whenever I want. I'm like, Phil, I need a picture. Go take it. Maybe he'll listen, maybe he won't. We'll find out. All right, so brand new segment, Sketty On. That's why we're here. Let me get your banner so we can show everybody. Sketty's on goats.
Oh, I thought long and hard about this first Sketty on. What am I going to rant about?
There we go.
What do you got?
I told you I have some...
The rock music in the background.
Yep, every week.
All right, I like it. So, first segment, I thought, what am I going to rant about? Do I use one of my old shit takes? Do I come up with something new? And then the sports gods smiled on me with Tom Brady's dumbass deciding to unretire. I thought, what a perfect gift. I'll finally admit it, Tom Brady is the GOAT, the greatest sports jackass of all time. Barely surpassing LeBron James, which I thought was going to be impossible to do. In a 40-day span, this guy retires and unretires twice. That means his offseason is basically that annoying couple on Facebook that's like, we're in a fight, we broke up, in a relationship, single, out of a relationship, back in a relationship. You look like a dumbass, Tom. Jeez Louise, I tell you what, just admit it. You got a cakewalk through to another Super Bowl, so you decided you'd come back. Unfreaking believable. I don't know how anyone respects this guy. He'll never be surpassed. 25 years of being a complete dickbag, and he tops the cherry with this. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's all I got to say about that.
I respect it. That was a damn good first Sketty on. I really like that.
I was going to do notes, and then I said, no, I'll just get angry.
Darren,
just get angry.
Love the intro. Pretty solid. I put some time into that yesterday when yesterday I was off work. So yesterday was like podcast technology stuff because we don't have a tech guy. We have a stat guy. We have some guys though. We got Pelly now. We got Pelly's our college basketball guy. Hunter wants to be our college football guy. I don't know. We're building a team. Paul's our beer guy and the first ever Fan Rant champion.
He is?
So, I don't know. I think we're doing pretty good. So that was nice, Sketty. I like that. Although, it's hard for me to agree with the part where he passed LeBron.
I didn't think it could be done. I really didn't think it could be done. And LeBron's up there. He's number 2 all time now. Brady, just think about all those times he's crying and throwing a shit fit on the sidelines, and we've given him a pass because he wins, and he took less money, and so you're mad at the guy because he dropped the ball, you threw at his feet. I get it, Tom. But come on, 40 days, could you just be more egotistical than that? Come out on Selection Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday and break news like that? Like, get over yourself.
To me, it kind of sounds like maybe you're mad he didn't come back to the 49ers.
I was really worried about doing this rant because if he gets traded, I'm gonna have to back up a little bit and say, well, he's not that bad.
If that happens, which I don't think it's going to.
I don't think
at this point. No, I don't think so either. But if they do, if something crazy happens and he ends up a 49er,
then he has to win a Super Bowl or I'm going to hate him the whole year anyway.
That is going to be an amazing segment from you, listening to you. You'll have to praise Tom Brady.
It's going to be rough. Well, no, I'll just say Jimmy Garoppolo got us to a Super Bowl. And according to the sports world, he's terrible. If you're the GOAT, geez, we should win by 7 touchdowns at least.
That's true. All right. We're good. First ever Sketty on. I liked it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the things that sting.
Jones Pest Control, your hometown pest control company servicing residential and commercial properties in Warren and surrounding areas since 2015. Sean and his crew will work tirelessly to keep your home or business free of insects to rodents and everything in between. Contact Jones Pest Control at 814-230-9548 and set up an appointment today. And remember, ants, spiders, bees, or mice, don't think twice. Call Jones Pest Control, 814-230-9548.
Checkout means sales and services with 2 locations on Warren's East Side. Their garage at 800 Lexington Avenue not only services cars sold by Means, but has knowledgeable staff and modern state-of-the-art equipment waiting to serve their hometown of Warren. Whatever you need, including alignments, tires, brakes, yearly or enhanced PA inspections, oil changes, and much more. Make your appointment today at 814-723-7191, extension 2.
It's now time for the things that sting. The worst stories in sports, according to Joe.
This edition of the Things That Sting is powered by Jones Pest Control. Ants, spiders, bees, or mice, don't think twice. Call Jones Pest Control at 814-230-9548. That's 814-230-9548. Our longest, most tenured sponsor, Sean Jones and the boys at Jones Pest Control. Love them. Pretty happy with that partnership. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So Things That Sting, like we said, is going to be switched up a little bit. We got Darren's throwing out some Things That Sting stuff already. That's nice. Bowers leave extended until April 16th. Nobody cares, Darren. He's a gross human being. You have Freddie Freeman now. He could probably pitch. It's not going to matter. It's a full season, Darren. We talked about this. They have to play the whole way. They're in trouble.
Listen, first off, you're just taking out the fact that you can't make fun of the Yankees on the Dodgers, which is a little rough.
Accurate.
And Darren doesn't have a quarterback right now, so you should just let him have his little moment, until things get figured out. And he might have to watch Baker be his quarterback. So let's ease up on Darren a little bit.
All right, you know what? You're right though. I am taking all my built-up baseball aggression that I want to just throw at the Yankees, and I can't until October 22nd.
Yep.
We're going to have, we might have a special episode.
Yankees hating podcast.
That day, just that day. Because, you're right, though. Darren, I do apologize. Know that when I'm speaking ill of the Dodgers, it's strictly because I want to say things about the Yankees, but I took an oath. I made a bet or something. What did I do? I put a post on Facebook.
You put a post. You made it Facebook official. You went full Tom Brady and backed yourself into a corner.
I did back myself into a corner. They were down 3-1, and the first 4 hitters on the Red Sox were going yard every time they stepped in the batter's box. I had no faith that the Astros would win that series. I don't know how they did. The Red Sox should all be in jail because that was the worst performance of all time in a series. They're terrible. That team is terrible. Okay, Things That Sting. So like I said, what we're doing from here on out. Oh, Darren didn't get the memo. I didn't either, Darren. I put the posts up, and I was incorrect. I was corrected by my friend Brian Campbell, who said it is a full season. They're shortening spring training, so they are getting all the games in. Again, excuse my ill will towards the Dodgers. It's strictly because I can't say anything about the Yankees. However, yes, the Dodgers will not win the World Series this year now because they have to play a full season. It's unfortunate for you and for the 10 other Dodgers fans that are out there. Here's what we're starting off with. Like I said, we're going to do 3 stories, and then we're going to do a rundown, and we're going to do some background music in the rundown too. It's going to be fun. We're trying to spice things up a little bit, Cain Velasquez. So, quick note before I get into him, Deshaun Watson, who was the very first ever Things That Sting story. If you listen, don't listen to it, but just take my word for it. Episode 1, which was just me nervously rambling into a microphone. I look back at those. I haven't listened, but I've been thinking about that. I want to go back and listen to them. Just some of them. To hear how it was very scripted and it was very like I said, I think I said this at the end of season 1. I would be 5 minutes into a conversation with myself, and I would screw up a stat, just a number. If I said something any remotely like just that I could just be like, oh, wait, hold on. No, it's this. I could have corrected it that way. No. Stop, delete, start it over. It was miserable. I don't know why I did that shit. Like,
how far we've come.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But anyways, Deshaun Watson, of the 22 women he allegedly sexual assaulted, only 9 filed criminal charges on him, and 9 no bills were returned by a grand jury, which means they will not indict him on any type of charges. So he is free and clear criminally. Now, that doesn't mean anything about the civil suits. That's totally separate. So I just wanted to note that because he that's kind of a big deal. First of all, for the NFL. Second, for Deshaun Watson. Third, because, like I said, he was the first ever Things That Sting conversation. So it's kind of neat that I could bring that back around. You know what I mean? So anyways, Cain Velasquez, charged with attempted murder. This is a really strange story. So a man named Harry Goularty, I'm probably saying that incredibly wrong, allegedly touched a young child who is a relative of Cain Velasquez. Cain then pursues him in a vehicle and fires shots into the vehicle. He's ultimately charged with attempted murder. So the internet, and I've even read articles, which is just like, it's crazy to me. Because this is like, it's fascinating. And I'm kind of like in a position with my job where I feel like I can't really say how I truly feel about what Cain Velasquez tried to do.
Yeah, you can't. I can. I mean,
You can.
I wish he would have killed him. Yeah. Correct. When I first read the article, it's too bad he missed. That's what I thought.
So here's the problem, though, and this is what, like, everybody on the internet, like, I can't understand what they can't wrap they're like, free him. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He was trying to kill a guy who allegedly, fondled a child, which clearly I'm strongly against. But the problem is Cain Velasquez hit the wrong guy.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of I've read articles, legitimate articles on sports outlets where they're saying, like, it's causing an uproar because all he did was shoot the guy who fondled a child. That's not what he did. He tried to shoot him, but he hit the dude's stepdad, Paul Bender, in the torso and in the arm. So he's charged with attempted murder. Now, trust me, and I'll just, like, let's just put it this way. What you are saying, you can speak for me. Because you know where my agreement lies on this. But again, the main problem in the entire thing is he hit the wrong dude.
Yeah, and I think that when the story first broke, they weren't really clear about that. It was just like, hey, yeah, he shot the guy, and then it seemed like just the initial article I read, but like within a day, if you read about it, he shot the wrong guy. He tried to shoot him and shot the wrong guy. You can't
there's posts on Facebook that got like hundreds of thousands of shares where people are like, free Cain. He did this because the justice system's a failure and blah blah blah, and it's like the justice system is protecting the guy who he hit, who didn't molest a child.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, they just don't get it. I mean, there's literally like letters upon letters that Cain's attorneys are encouraging friends and celebrities alike, like WWE wrestlers, UFC guys, Dana White. They're all outpouring support to Cain, and I get that, but like, I hope that they're supporting his intentions, not that he shot the wrong guy, because that's what he did.
I mean, I think the big thing with the story is, even if you want to support his intentions, you still can't do that. This is why you can't have the vigilante justice, is because if you screw up, now this innocent guy got shot.
Right.
Like that's why we have laws. We have the justice system, is to try to avoid stuff like this from happening. you know, it is sad because I can understand where his head was at. Like, you know, I don't think the intent was.
I would feel that same. I would feel that
exactly.
same rage if I was in his position. I would feel that same rage. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't want to say I've become numb to it because of work and literally having this share a space with a person who's done that, have a conversation with them. Like, I don't. And again, I'm typically never careful about what I say, but I don't want to say something and then you know, if I was if something happens down the road and I'm in some sort of like officer involved shooting or something like that, and they're like, well, on his show he said he thinks they should all die. You know, I just so I'm not gonna say those words, but to briefly and very briefly, because it's disgusting, the details of the case are the allegations are that he entered his mom owns a daycare that is attached to their house, and this Goularty enters the bathroom with a small child well over, according to the child, over 100 times, and touched him inappropriately, and then told him not to tell anybody that this happened. From what I could tell, it seemed extremely uncoached, and the kid was speaking from exactly what took place. There's phrases and things that children say in interviews that sometimes you can tell a parent or somebody might be a driving force in them saying these things, which is sad in its own right. That's a whole nother, you know, accusing somebody of doing this when they didn't do it is like fucking just as bad as the people who did it, because it follows them for fucking ever, regardless of whether they were found guilty or not. It's just horrible. But yeah, so his court date, I thought I wrote it down. I didn't. It's in April, I believe. I want to say the 16th is what's like ringing a bell in my head, but I can't remember exactly. So we'll follow it. I mean, it's going to be an interesting way through. The mother who owns the daycare is adamant that her son didn't do this, right? You know, that's normal. Typical. That's normal. So we'll follow up with that as it comes around. Do have a comment to get to. Thank you, Darren. You recorded this for future cancellation. I think if cancel culture got me in their grips, it wouldn't take them too long.
Yeah.
I don't really, you know, go with the. Speaking of woke, we'll get to that in the rundown. We'll have the we got some woke stuff.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't sit well with me either. New York Liberty fined $500,000. WNBA team fined because their owners, out of pocket, it's a husband and wife, chartered flights for the team to away games during the second half of this past season. So, among other rule violations were that the owners paid for a trip for the entire team over Labor Day to Napa Valley, and they paid for everything. Like, it was like a little vacation for the ladies. And according to the board, the league board of directors or council or whatever the hell they call themselves, the amount spent on the Napa Valley trip vastly exceeded the allowable compensation to players. Now, we talked about this prior to the show, so I kind of see your point. Where it could be enticing to free agents, but then I countered that with how big is free agency in the WNBA? Like, is that, you know, I and the problem is I'm scaling it off of what we've witnessed the last 3 days, which is like one of the greatest moments of the NFL season is NFL free agency, where it's just fucking wild and shit's happening and all this. And I don't know that. Well, I could probably speak without knowing that the WNBA's free agency is nothing like that. But
would like sign him to a $60,000 contract? Like, that's going to be big news. I don't know.
Over 5 years.
Yeah, like I had no idea. Like, when your league loses $12 million a year, I don't know. I don't know why they're still doing it. I have no idea why they're still doing it.
So the league, the chartering rule, the chartered flights rule, is in place because they believe it gives a competitive advantage to teams that can't afford to pay for them. So improved travel has been something that's a goal of the WNBA for a while. However, in the current CBA, they are all to travel commercially, and that is the reason they're looking to change that is because it has actually caused cancellation of games as well as forfeits because flights canceled
Can't
or
get there,
delayed or whatever. So they're working toward that. However, the New York Liberty chose to kind of just do it on their own. This is where it gets ridiculous. The league's general counsel, that's what they're called, suggested 2 other punishments prior to handing down the $500,000 fine. And those included losing every draft pick. This is a quote: losing every draft pick you have ever seen. And this is the worst one: terminating the franchise.
Clown organization. That's what I told you earlier. I'll stand by that.
It is.
They don't make money. If the NBA didn't pump money into them, they couldn't stay afloat. Like, it just let the dream die. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
and
if people don't want your product, why are you trying to force it?
And
then
that's
make
what
it act like you should be getting paid on par with the men. Like, it's mind blowing to me.
And that's exactly what I said to you was that, they want people to take this league serious. And you're talking about literally canceling a franchise because they took a couple private planes to some away games.
Yeah. I mean, I think we personally, we should start our own little boycott our show until they give us a Pat McAfee deal. Spotify's out. We're not putting it up anymore. I want Pat McAfee money. I'm done. Fairness.
Spotify would say, who?
Yeah, that's what we should be telling the WNBA players. The
Yeah.
same thing. Who are you again?
Yeah,
no one cares. Like,
I mean, it's
just
the
not
truth,
how the world
though.
works. I'm not being mean. I'm not saying they're not talented, but if nobody wants your product,
you can't make them want it. And that's where the NBA comes into play and bails them out, year after year financially. So, and that leads us into this because part of the small pay in the WNBA has led to a lot of the star players going to Russia and playing in the Russian Women's Basketball Premier League. So Brittany Griner, Baylor standout. I mean, most people who just know sports, you probably have heard of Brittany Griner because of what she did at Baylor. I mean, she was like the best, one of the best in the country in women's basketball during her time in college. So she spends her winters in the off season from the WNBA. She spends her winters playing for UMMC Ekaterinburg, which is in Russia. She has been detained in a Russian in an airport in Moscow because in her luggage were vape pens that contained hash oil. So I read today that she's now been detained for this for approximately 1 month because she was detained for a week or two before it even came out to the media that that's what happened. So they've extended that now until May 19th. She will be detained until May 19th.
She's facing I think it's like a 10-year punishment over there. She is what she's facing.
That's insane. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, a couple things on this. Given the climate of things, I think it's possible that they just thought that she's got enough pull in the United States that here's a popular U.S. hostage we can have, which I firmly believe. And I don't even know. I don't know if she was dumb enough to actually have these vape cartridges on her, or if they're just saying that's what happened. She did say that she could beat Boogie Cousins one-on-one, so she probably does smoke a lot of weed because otherwise I don't know how else she would come up with that take. But no, in all seriousness, it's definitely I think it's a scary situation there. I think just with everything going on in the world right now, it's kind of.
So that's in my notes, and so according to the White House, the national security team and the U.S. Department of Security are working diligently with the U.S. ambassadors and everything over there, trying to establish something to get her freed. But the fear is, like you just said, is that she's being used as a political bargaining chip because of what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and the sanctions that are being thrown down on Russia right now, which I read are crushing. Doesn't seem like it because they're still fucking beating the shit out of Ukraine right as we speak. So it doesn't appear to be working, but so it is scary though. And I hope that they figure out a way to get her out of there. While researching this, I actually read a bunch of different stories from like Diana Taurasi and other, well-known women's basketball professionals, and they said, but the thing is they go over there. The reason they do is because she's making Brittany Griner more money. She makes about $1 million in the winter time being over there. Now, with that said, they complain that she makes $250,000 playing in the WNBA. She makes $1 million over there playing in this short, compact winter season. What the difference is, because I tried extremely hard to find anything budget-wise for this Premier League, any salary cap. I tried to find anything I could, and there's nothing. There's nothing out there. Reason being, unlike American sports, in Russia, they are not required to disclose contracts, length, price, any, guaranteed money or anything that says if incentives or anything like that. So you can't find anything on it. So what I read is that the Russian government owns the majority of these teams. The ones that they don't are owned by the most powerful people in Russia who aren't in the government. So they just literally dump anything they want into these players. Diana Taurasi, was it Diana Taurasi? I think it was Diana Taurasi, was paid by the owner of UMMC Kattenberg. She played for the same team Griner's currently on. They paid Diana Taurasi not to go back and to sit out a WNBA season so she would rest.
So
go ahead.
I'm guessing it's similar to what the Saudi Golf League we talked about a couple weeks back or towards the end of season 1 there, like where they're just trying to buy, goodwill. The government runs these things and says, hey, we'll bring the best talent here, even though it might not really be, well, I guess they are the best women in the world, but it's just a different ball game over there.
Yeah, it is. And it's, based off of the money that they're willing to put into it versus what people are putting into the WNBA. But like you said in the regarding the New York Liberty and the WNBA as a whole, if people aren't willing to buy the product, people aren't going to input a bunch of money into it. They aren't going to do it. It's all about the return, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again, I just want to clarify. I'm not taking a shot at the talent level of the WNBA, but
no,
it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You might be the best basketball players in the world. Maybe you're so good you could go play in the NBA. I don't know why you're not in the NBA if that's the case, but
give it time.
It doesn't matter how good you are if people don't want to. You could make the best spaghetti in the world, Joe, and if you can't get people to try it, you're never going to sell it.
Right.
It's meaningless.
And like I said, it's all about the return. So you buy a gallon of chocolate milk for $5. You charge $7 a cup, big return.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Capitalism.
Yeah. Beautiful thing.
All right. We're into the rundown. Let me find it. Where'd it go? There we go. Got some music for the rundown.
I like it.
I like it too. NFL prospects threaten to boycott the combine, and the NFL responds by lifting the COVID mandates. So they threaten, they say, you're going to make it a bubble situation. I can't bring my people. I'm out. NFL says, whoa. All 155 of you who threatened to boycott it, come on in. No bubble situation. Next up, Red Sox released minor leaguer Brett Netzer following a series of racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic tweets. I actually read the tweets. I went to his Twitter page. They're still up. Fascinatingly enough, it sounds like something's just fucking
gone loose.
He ain't right, yeah. But he was a 2017 third rounder, so a bummer for him. Washington and Jefferson student. You sent me this one. Is that music too loud, do you think?
I think I turned it down, but it just sounds... I was having that problem when we did the Scuddy on Sports. It sounds louder in our headphones than what it is when you're just listening, I believe.
Right. Trial and error.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
Washington and Jefferson student is disenrolled from the school for personally hurtful sign that he held up at a women's basketball game. So October 14th of 2013, he's holding a sign, says 10-14-13. It is the day a Westminster women's basketball player's father passed away. So we read the headline and we're like,
yeah, that's what I was like, what, he hurt her feelings? Yeah.
And we read the story and we're like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you. I was like,
yeah,
you can't do that. Yeah,
you can't do that. Yeah. So what I read in further reading, the girl's mother attends these games, obviously saw the sign as well. Yeah. Reports that last year when they visited W&J, they were chanting to this girl, 35, where's your dad?
Classy individuals down there.
So they got some work to do to the students at that school because that's pretty fucked up. So
absolutely.
Sad one here. Stanford's women's soccer captain, Katie Meyer, passes away. It was a suicide. It's said that she was had some sort of disciplinary investigation going on within the school. They're not sure if that's what pushed her to this, but a lot of people are also taking the route that it has to do with parents putting pressure on kids to perform well and be good athletes and be dedicated to their sport. So sad story. Also, somebody commented on the post about that Stanford's suicide rate is like stupid high for students. So
I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but very strange. A fan brawl at a Mexican soccer game leaves 3 critically injured and 26 hospitalized. Why do soccer fans want to fight all the time?
Don't know.
I don't know. Because the game is fucking boring and they need something else to do to occupy their time. WWF Hall of Famer Razor Ramon passes away. That's a sad one. Hey, Chico.
Really sad.
Yeah, I always love
Razor.
He was a really, really great character. What did we call it when we talked to John McChesney? Gimmick. His gimmick was really good that he had. Always liked Razor Ramon. Last but not least, another extremely sad one. A bus carrying the University of Southwest golf team had a head-on collision with a pickup truck. 9 people died as a result of the crash, including 1 coach and 6 golfers. I
just got an update about this. The teen that was driving the truck that hit him, 13 years old.
There was a kid driving it?
Driver in fatal crash was 13. Yep. Teen was driving the truck in the crash that killed the
Why
coach.
was he driving the truck?
I'm guessing the truck that hit the teen.
Yeah, he took it for a joyride or something?
I don't know. I just got the Bleacher Report update literally 20 mintes ago. Yeah, just checked. That's what I was reading.
Remind me for next week. I'll do some more digging on that and see what transpires. But holy smokes, that's sad.
Yeah, real sad. Yep.
All right, that's going to wrap up things that sting this week. As always, brought to you by Jones Pest Control. Ants, spiders, bees, or mice. Don't think twice. Call Jones Pest Control. 814-230-9548. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with My Hive, get into the mailbag, talk about some NFL free agency. Blue Line Auto, located at 1606 Pennsylvania Avenue East in Warren, is locally owned and operated and is a family-run business specializing in vehicle sales and service. They offer state and safety inspections and general car repairs, including but not limited to brakes and rotors, tires, oil changes, batteries, starters, and alternators. They also offer vehicle undercoating prior to winter to help keep your vehicle protected. Currently, their hours are Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Thursday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call them today to schedule your next appointment at 814-230-9061. Your safety is their goal.
Hi, this is Ryan Klein, the host of the new pop culture podcast, Me, Myself, and Rye. You can find me on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and several other platforms. Special guests, breakaway shows, bonus episodes, cold beers, and a whole lot more. So what are you guys and gals waiting for? Subscribe now to the Me, Myself, and Rye podcast on Spotify or wherever it is that you get your shows and start listening today.
My High, Joe and Sketty's very own world of sports.
My Hive is presented by Blue Line Auto. For all your automotive needs, call Blue Line Auto at 814-230-9061 or stop in at 1606 Pennsylvania Avenue East in Warren. All right. NFL free agency. We put off the best for last, I feel like, because there's so much to talk about here.
Been crazy couple of weeks here.
Yeah. It has been nuts, and it's been fun to follow. So we're going to start off. I just wrote down some names, and we'll just let the conversation flow as it does. Get in the comments on this one if you're watching live. Russ Wilson, we'll start with him. That was the first kind of big thing that happened that allowed the domino. Well, the announcement of Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay.
Yes. Yeah, that kicked it.
Let the dominoes start to fall. So we went with Russ Wilson goes to Denver, which he I saw today started his own new catchphrase.
I did not see this.
This is Broncos country. Let's ride. He said it like three times, 3 different interviews.
Okay.
So people are all like, they're all,
yeah.
Well, a lot of excitement to finish in third place.
Well, me and you were we were a little at odds on this take, I think. First off, I think Seattle absolutely cleaned up. I think Seattle's bad. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Noah Fant, they're going to have to re-sign because he's good. I mean, Drew Lock, I don't have a lot of faith in. It'll be interesting to see if they let him go or if
I just want to hang out with Drew Lock.
I know Drew Lock. Like, he just seems like a cool dude. Like, I'm with it. And then what was the other? Shelby Harris, some defensive lineman. I don't know much about him.
He's good.
But regardless, I think this is a good move for Seattle. They can't compete with the Rams in that division. I don't think they can compete with the Cardinals or the 49ers either. So this sets them up for 2 years when the Rams window closes. If they draft well, they can be in a good spot. And honestly, I think I told you Russ going to the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are that far away. Defense is pretty good. Still have a good receiving core there. The question is Russ washed up? If Russ is washed up, then Seattle hit an even bigger home run. If he's not washed up, I don't think it's crazy to think that the Broncos could be the 3rd best team in the AFC next year.
I'm not. I can't yet.
I'm just saying, like, who do you think is, besides the Bills and the Chiefs,
Bengals.
In the AFC, you think the Bengals are undoubtedly better, even as junky as that line is?
They just addressed the line in free agency. That's like all they've done. They
did, but how football is. There's always somebody that goes first to worst.
Yeah.
Lamar's going to be back. The Browns maybe. Yeah, Steelers are going to be kind of tough they'll be tough to be worse than this year, but I just don't think. I think the AFC has a lot of young talent, but I don't know that the teams are that talented. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know. It all comes down to how Russ plays, and here's the thing, and this is might have told it to you. I told it to somebody. The amount of money that he spends on he's a Tom Brady type of person when it comes to his body. He said he spends like well over $1 million a year just on taking care of his temple. So I never really thought Russ was bad. He just was running for his life the last 2 years. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can't throw from your fucking back or,
Exactly.
If you gave Tom Brady no line, he wouldn't have, however many fucking Super Bowls he's won at this point.
Exactly. Yep.
So, I don't know. Denver isn't quite there for me yet, but we'll see. I mean, that's a team that I'm saying this now. I'm basing a lot of it off of, past performances, but a lot of their issue was the quarterback. I mean, they have good weapons, with especially at receiver for Russ to work with. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy's good.
I think Tim Patrick's still there, right? I think Tim Patrick's quietly very underrated. I think he's pretty solid.
Darren, hot take on Russ Wilson. He turned a hoe into a housewife, and for that, was she? Who did he marry?
Sierra.
Was it Sierra?
Yeah.
I thought it was Rihanna.
No, Sierra.
Who the fuck married Rihanna?
Some rapper.
Oh,
I have no idea. I have no idea.
All right. Yeah, I don't know either.
I did just want to touch too, since we brought it up with Aaron Rodgers kicking everything off. I can see why if he would have went to Denver, I think it was a stupid move because he's only got a year or two left, and the Packers should, unless Devontae Adams sits out, they should run away with that division. I would think.
Yeah.
So it just dumb move. Where Russ is going from the last place team to,
having a shot
potentially someone. Yeah. Better team around him.
Yeah, well, definitely. And while we're on the topic of Seattle, I forgot to put the Kaepernick thing in the rundown, but let's just have a quick laugh about the fact that Pete Carroll, in his woke coaching ways that we're all have been accustomed to over the last couple of years, comes out and says, I do believe Kaepernick deserves a shot in the NFL, and he still has it. And they say to him, well, who should pick him up? Well, that I don't know.
Yep. The team that has Drew Lock and Geno Smith on their roster.
The team that potentially has the worst quarterback room, minus the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts. I don't even know who's in that room.
There's nobody. I don't think there's anybody in it. But
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Did you see Marcellus Wiley? Did you watch that?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
I can't remember what show he's got now, whatever his show is. He was talking about the tape, and he said, I saw Colin Kaepernick in perfect conditions not making perfect throws. And then, I kind of was I didn't watch the whole clip, but, it started, and he's like, here's Colin Kaepernick taking a 10-yard drop back. No one in the NFL has done that since 1995. He's just shredding him, just absolutely shredding that workout video where they're like, he looks the best ever. And he's like, well, as a football player, someone who's played football, you don't see what I see. And I'm telling you, he ain't got it.
Yeah.
But
but the guys on Bleacher Report know way better than Marcellus Wiley would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But like I said, I shared that post on the page. I wish somebody would just take a shot at him. Let him start the first 3 games of the season, so we can just.
Seattle.
I hope it is too, because he'll just get he'll get teed the fuck off on. And
the Niners have struggled with them. Let me get some Kaepernick back.
And just everybody would. I just want this conversation to go away, and there's only one way for that to happen, is for the guy who called the NFL modern day slavery to return to modern day slavery and
back to the plantation.
Yeah, make the millions. And somebody commented that on the post and was like, because if you saw the video, I mean, he legitimately calls the NFL. He says it's the owners are slave owners. We're just slaves.
Yep.
We're just slaves.
Yep.
Free men making fucking more money than we'll ever see in our lifetime.
Yep.
And unless Bush Light hooks us up, no, throw it out there.
There's always a chance. There's always a chance.
Thought I'd throw it out there, but why would he want to come running back to that if it's so fucking bad? If it's so horrible, and you can't believe the way you were treated when you were in the NFL, why would you try so desperately to get back into the league?
No, see, that's the game that he plays with everyone, though. He doesn't actually want to come back because he knows he'll get exposed. He just has to stay relevant enough that people want to talk about him.
Keep that conversation going. Yep.
He's going to be 55 years old saying, I got it still. I got it.
And people people online will be like, if fucking this guy still has a job, then Kaepernick deserves one.
Blaine Gabbert beat him out his last year. Everyone forgets. Blaine Gabbert won the starting job.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to watch it. I had to watch it. It was terrible.
Yeah, that dude, like I said, I just hope, I've never pushed more in my life for wanting somebody to be on a team. I hope he gets on a team. I hope, well, I know what's going to happen if he does get on a team. So just let it happen. Just somebody let it happen. Sign him, start him, let him go 5 for 20 with, 5 sacks and 3 picks and fucking cut his ass. So we can all move on.
You wouldn't be able to bench him. Because if he was bad the first 5 games, the whole world would cry, well, he hasn't played in 5 years. He was rusty. You got to give him the whole season. So no one's going to touch him. There's too much baggage.
Yeah, there is. You're right. And that's exactly it, too. That would be the counter argument. They would say he deserves a job. Look at him. Look at him, Yep. And then when he gets in, well, he's rusty, and you're dead on with that.
Yep.
Deshaun. So the Deshaun sweepstakes have yet to be announced. We're still waiting on his decision. The Browns took themselves out.
No. I don't think so. The way I read it was Deshaun told them the Browns are out. The Watson's camp contacted them and said, you're not in the running anymore. That's because the way I read it.
Maybe he doesn't want to be an adult.
They need an adult quarterback.
That's what they said.
I just happen to know one that they could get for probably a 2nd-round pick.
James Garoppolo.
If you like winning, that's your guy.
Cleveland doesn't.
Cleveland does not like winning. I told the guys, probably Cam Newton. That's who you're looking as your quarterback this year. Maybe they'll take Kaepernick. Kaepernick's an adult. He's 34.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was listening to Spro sent me the Pat McAfee link to what he was going over with the whole Baker thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Baker requested a trade, and did you see that the Browns said no?
Yeah, after they literally came out yesterday and said they wanted to move off him.
They literally came out and were like, no. You want to trade? We're not accommodating that. So in Pat McAfee's words, they were like, no fucking way. He ain't getting traded.
Cleveland gonna Cleveland. That's all there is to it.
Insult the fuck out of your starting quarterback, alienate him to the point where he requests a trade, and then deny it. So he'll be super happy playing there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I honestly think they probably would have ended up parting ways after next year.
Yeah, but here's my thing: if you can get something in return,
that's why I want the Niners.
Why would you not?
So bad.
You're right. Yeah, why wouldn't if you could unload Baker right now, knowing he does not want to be here? Why would you ride him out and let him touch free agency next year when you're not going to persuade him back? Look at everything that's happened in the last 24 hours surrounding the Browns and in Baker Mayfield's camp. There's no way.
They've Cleveland this away. I think Hank said it, and I tend to agree with him. I think Baker's at the point now where he's just not going to play. He's just going to say, okay, well, I'm going to sit the year out.
So if Indy wants to give up something for him, which is what Darren's in the comments saying, because the Texans did block the Colts from, which, of course, they're not going to send Deshaun Watson within the division. I mean, I know Darren wants that to happen. If I was a Colts fan, I would love that to happen because that was it. But
Hagberg makes a great point there.
You can't say you want an adult at QB, then act like a child when you request a trade. 100%. I am not in any way on Team Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback, but here's where I think, this is where I'm at with it. And we talked about this because Sketty earlier accused me of saying that Baker's better than Jimmy G. Those words never came out of my fucking mouth. I do not think Baker is better than Jimmy G, but what I do think is that with Baker, you still have potential for growth. With Jimmy G, you got a handsome-ass quarterback who can manage a game and can take you some places, but he's never gonna throw 40 times and complete 38 of them for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Well, I did. So I wrote down some stats because I knew we were going to talk about this a little bit. Baker Mayfield. So you said he's got some room for some growth, which he does because
He played injured last year. He wasn't horrible the year before. When he was playing healthy, he wasn't bad.
His best season, which was the year before 2020,
right?
He 26 touchdowns to 8 picks, which is pretty good. 3,500 yards, also pretty good. 62% of his passes completed. This last year when he's playing hurt, 60.5% was his completion.
Okay, so what are you going to tell me, that you can't teach accuracy? Because I will argue that with look at Josh Allen's numbers, because that's exactly what Terry Bradshaw said on Fox one Sunday beautiful afternoon, where he was like, oh, well, the problem with Allen is he isn't accurate, and you can't teach that. He's just never going to have that. You have to understand that he's not going to throw a high completion percentage. And then what did he do? Switched up some mechanics. Now the fucking guy could knock a Pepsi can off your head.
What's Allen's completion percentage? Do you know roughly?
I
didn't look
off
it
the
up.
top of my head, but I mean, he was well under 60 the first couple years of his career.
Well, I think but I'm just to go with what the topic that we're going on though. Jimmy last year was top 5 in the league completion percentage, or top 6 maybe. His full year in 2019, 69% of his passes, 68% of his passes. So in my mind, Baker is going to grow into be maybe what Jimmy is right now. And
okay,
the bigger. Go ahead.
Tell me this: where was Jimmy G at for attempts?
I did not look attempts up. I know this past year he played one more game than Baker, and I think he only had 23 more attempts. And on 23 more.
This past year doesn't count. We can't count this past year.
Why? Because they were both hurt.
Because Baker Mayfield was being carried onto the field to play. Jimmy G didn't get hurt till the end of the season.
Oh, he was hurt at the beginning of the year too. Remember, because Lance had to start that game.
What did he do?
I can't remember. His ankle or something stupid.
Cut himself shaving that handsome face. It would be about it.
It's who knows. It's Jimmy. He got hurt doing something. That's the problem with him. He's been hurt all the time.
Probably fucking.
That good possibility. Threw his ankle out doing some crazy position. Who knows?
He's a handsome guy. I'll give him that. He's the best looking quarterback in the NFL for sure. But he's just not. I don't think he's that good.
I'm just saying, if you're Cleveland, like Hank was saying, okay, well, let's just start Case Keenum this year and draft a quarterback. No, the Browns are built to win right now. They have a good young defense. They just got Amari Cooper, who I love. I think that's one of the best pickups in all free agency right now. Amari Cooper for a 5th round pick. That's a steal.
How does Pro Football Reference not have completion percentage? They have to somewhere. Yeah,
it should be on there. Yeah, I mean, I just to me, if you're going to move off Baker, which I don't think is a terrible idea, hard to say because he was hurt last year, but if you're going to move off of him, you need somebody who's ready to play right now, because windows in the NFL are small. You can't go into another rebuild with a young quarterback and hope for the best there.
Well, they have so much talent on that team too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't just say we're going to go with Case Keenum and then hopefully we'll draft a quarterback next year and it'll all work out. Your window is going to be closed by then.
Okay, so Josh Allen completion percentage went from 52 in 2018 to 58 in 2019 to 69 in 2020.
Yeah, and I know he had a ton. What did he do in 2021?
63. So it regressed.
He wasn't as good this year as he was last year. Last year was pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's not a huge bump, but he only threw the ball. Oh no, hold on. Oh yeah, okay. So he threw the ball. Wow, shit. Actually, he threw the ball more the year he had the 69% completion percentage.
Well, how many attempts did he have that year? I mean, I'm guessing it had to be
572, and he completed 69%.
So I think I don't remember the attempts Jimmy's good year, but last year missing the 2 games, he was 440, something like that, 441.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Baker's young enough yet that there's still there's people who are saying that Josh Allen still has room for improvement here, and here.
Yeah.
They're expecting more growth from him, which I mean, how much better can he get? I mean, I'm not saying he's the greatest, but holy fuck, the dude's lighting it up, and he's doing things that the Bills haven't seen at the quarterback position since I was a small child.
But it's just with Baker, what money are you going to have to pay this guy? Like, your best bet is to take him on the extension this year, maybe franchise him the following year. He's got to show you something, because
But that's what I'm saying, though. If part of the trade agreement is a extension on a contract, I don't think at this point you have to dump a shitload of money into him.
Well, I mean, that's what does he want? What does Baker think his value is? That's the question I have, because I think that Baker seems like the kind of guy who's, although maybe he's doing enough commercials that he's fine.
So here's what I'm going to read you something. I got a text from a source.
Okay.
I can't say his name.
Okay.
But he's a source. And he said, this was earlier today, I'm texting with a family friend. So this is like fourth story, third person. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
I'm texting with a family friend that is buddies with one of the beat reporters for Cleveland. He's saying that Baker lost the locker room and pissed the whole team off. Sounds like they kept a lot of drama in-house. And this was last season is what they're saying. I just don't see, like, he said that's why the comment leaked about them wanting an adult at quarterback. But like, the dude played through injury, like, willingly. It's not like he quit on them. I just don't see, like, what did he do that pissed him off so bad?
Well,
Or is this
if you remember at the end of last year? Well, at the end of last year, if you remember, there were like rumblings that there was a rift between him and Stefanski. They think that Stefanski didn't like Baker, and that's why they were hucking it all those games when he clearly was injured and should have just been handing off to Nick Chubb. Remember the famous, we're saving Nick Chubb for the playoffs line by Stefanski? And it was like, bro, you didn't even make the playoffs. What are you saving him for? It's just insane to me. Like, I really think there's something there. I think they got to blow the whole thing up now. Now they're toast.
That's what I think too. But they're saying they aren't going to honor his request.
Yeah, it's a mess now. I have no idea.
So I just don't know why, if you have the opportunity, and Brian says it's called creating a context. Yeah, but like, don't you can make Baker look like a bad guy all you want, but guess what? That ain't gonna fucking help your trade value when you're trying to get something in return for him either. If you're,
exactly.
Coward put out a bit about Baker releasing that letter and saying that he said it was the single smartest thing Baker Mayfield ever did, because he put out there that no matter where I end up, I am going to give you 100% of myself. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That letter could be complete bullshit. I'm not in the training. I'm not in the quarterback rooms. I just watch them on TV on Sundays or whatever. But if you're the Browns, you're releasing this info now, pinning the two together, like, against each other, and I don't see how they think that that's going to help them when they're trying to trade the guy. If they do end up trading him, like, you're hurting the value of him by saying he's a fucking asshole or a child or whatever you're saying. Like, talk him up. Say yeah. You know what? This system isn't working for what's going on with Baker. He's a great kid. He's a great quarterback. You could say whatever you want about him behind closed doors. Nobody cares.
Yep.
If something like this gets leaked, where you want an adult, you dispute it. As a franchise, you get out ahead of that and say, I don't know. That sounds like some bullshit to me.
Yep. Well, the thing you got to say is, and they should have done this, I've seen the Niners say it multiple times the last few years, is, hey, Baker's our guy, but we owe it to ourselves and the organization, the fans, to do our due diligence on anyone that wants to
you always
make us an offer. Yeah.
Brandon Beane said that from the beginning with Buffalo. Like, you always try to upgrade positions if you can. If you can make it happen, you can. It's a business. These guys know that. And but I think, like, with Baker, I think the writing was on the wall to him prior to anything with Deshaun Watson coming out, because he knew like, hey, I don't think I'm in their future plans. So I'm going to get out ahead of this and try and sell myself to whoever I may be heading, the organization next. I don't know. I mean, he had nothing but great things to say about Cleveland, how he behaves when he's out there and is in that environment. if he's fan friendly. I don't know. I've never heard anything otherwise. Usually when people are total dicks, that kind of stuff seems to get out. But I don't know. I think Cleveland's handling that situation extremely poor.
Brownsy.
Very Brownsy. Very, very Brownsy.
Yep, the whole situation blowing up. Yep.
Sketty's favorite, Tom Brady, announces his return. That kind of opened the floodgates for some re-signings in Tampa. Godwin's back. I'm missing his name. The defensive back who was kind of a hot commodity going into free agency, he re-signed. I forget his name. Yeah, I don't know who the hell he is. Darren Stat Guy, help us out in the comments. Need you on that one. So Tampa Bay looks like they're right back in the mix, as they were last year. So maybe next year they'll need a quarterback if Brady retires for the third time in 12 months.
Another problem I have with that whole thing is I really think this is his goodbye tour. Everyone praised him for not taking and just saying, hey, I'm hanging it up. I don't need all the fanfare. There's no way he comes back and plays another season after this. This is it. This is the goodbye tour.
So you think this is the thank you, him wanting everybody to thank him?
Yep. He wants a special thing up at every stadium he goes to this year. Yeah, this is it. He's not coming. I mean, he's 44 years old. He shouldn't come back this year. I really just think that he knows that they had the Rams until Cooper Kupp went off like he did and bailed the team out 3 times during the playoffs. I think he just said, "Shit, I can beat these scrubs." So, yeah, I think it's just one more chase.
Steelers make some interesting moves, signing Mitch Trubisky. I thought about this today because I was actually talking to my dad about it. I was originally you
didn't like.
Well, I was very into him going to New York. I thought that was like a sure thing. Yep. It was not Darren. It was not Murphy Bunting. It's somebody else. If you say his name, I'm going to know it. I mean, I can look it up. But anyways, to talk about the Steelers with Trubisky, I was not into the idea of him going anywhere but New York because he has a year under Brian Dable's system. I thought that would be it. That to me was done deal. Thinking about it more, why he would choose Pittsburgh over New York? No quarterback competition. He's 100% starting.
I would say so. Yep.
And if he goes to New York, then he's competing with Daniel Jones for the job. He's not guaranteed to start. And of course, I don't know I don't even know if New York offered him anything, but I know there was a lot of rumor about mutual interest or whatever. But I think Pittsburgh slid in and said, "Hey, you'll be starting. Here's the money we'll give you." And he was like, "Yeah, I'd rather play than hold a clipboard."
Yep.
So I think that kind of when I put that kind of thought into it, then I was like, yeah, that actually makes way more sense for him to go there.
I think this is a really good signing for Pittsburgh. Just because I don't think they're quite ready to win right now. I mean, they're kind of on the cusp. But of the available quarterbacks, Trubisky's still pretty young. He does have that upside. You get him away from Matt Nagy's garbage offense. Maybe that helps him out. What do you cost him? $14 million for over 2 years, I believe.
Who was that?
It just Trubisky. I think he's $14 million over the 2 years.
I think was it 17? Oh no, it was 14. I think you're right. Yeah, 14.
Either way, he's still dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I just think that this was, I think I was on that at the end of the year. I think Trubisky is one that of the teams that needed QBs, he's the guy that you go out there and get and say, hey, there's a little bit of upside here. He's not 30 years old. He might not be great, but, we can at least work with him and see if we got something. I mean, the guy's got some physical tools. It could be a Ryan Tannehill situation. Just get him out of the garbage and maybe turns his career around. Plus it's Pittsburgh, so he'll be fucking Josh Allen 2.0 down there now. And just,
he did spend a year behind the GOAT.
And the other thing too is Pittsburgh's a very loyal franchise. So if he has 2 good years there, I'm not saying great. If he has 2 good years, they'll re-up him. I believe.
I saw a lot of Pittsburgh fans who were happy about this signing on Facebook, and then in their comment section, people were posting receipts of old Mitch Trubisky hate that they were throwing up when he was with the Bears. Or like when the Bills signed him as a backup, they were like, oh, cool, good backup. He's a great backup. And then, but like people were posting screenshots of the comments within people's posts, and I loved it. Nothing makes me happier than Facebook receipts. Remember that. Old stuff that comes back around to haunt you is like, it's funny to me. Like sports related, you say something like the one I post all the time of Hunter, when the Bills traded for Diggs and Hunter put up horrible trade. Diggs will get hurt week 1, total waste. And then he proceeded to lead the league in receptions.
But yeah, I mean, I think you at Pittsburgh, you can be okay with this. Like you really can. And you're not spending a bunch of money. If he sucks, who cares?
Well,
that's nothing for a quarterback.
Okay, so far my of all free agency, my sneaky good signing from any team that I think could come back around and be like, holy shit, that was a great signing, like one of the best in all free agency. The Steelers signed Miles Jack.
I did see that. Yep. Yeah, that's
and Miles Jack has a plethora of talent. And with Miles Jack, here's my theory. Could be completely wrong, but here's my theory on why they let him walk is because Josh Allen, not my boy, but Josh Allen, linebacker from Kentucky.
Yep.
He'll be entering this year will be his 4th year.
Yeah.
I think. He was a year after. Yeah, it'll be his 4th year. And he's good, like real fucking good. And he's going to require a whole bunch of money. And I think that they were anticipating that. And with what they spent on putting weapons around Trevor Lawrence.
I was going to say they can't. Go ahead.
I just think that the reason why they let Miles Jack walk is because they were like, okay, we want to speed up Trevor Lawrence's development. How do we do that? We overpay Christian Kirk. And then we bring in Evan Ingram on a prove-it deal. And who else did they sign? They got somebody else too.
Zay Jones. I don't know what they paid Zay Jones.
Zay Jones is terrible.
I don't know. The Jags are my least favorite team in the league right now because they just gave Christian Kirk $21 million, which means Deebo Samuel is going to be like fucking $30 million now. They got to pay him for a year. Like, thank you.
They 100% boned the entire wide receiver market.
That's what I'm saying. What do you think Devontae Adams wants now?
Yeah,
$40 fucking million a year.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no, the Jaguars have definitely
just Shad Khan, dick.
They just put the dick to the rest of the NFL 100%. But
so bad.
I think that that's part of the whole thing, though, is like, hey, we want to speed up Trevor Lawrence's development. Hey, we're going to have to pay Josh Allen a shitload of money. Miles Jack, unfortunately, you're going to be a casualty of all of that. Yep. And that dude, Steelers have a way of just making defensive players thrive. And, I mean, their inside linebackers were like Joe Schobert, who got released today.
Yep.
Like, they weren't good. So, I mean, it's a huge upgrade. It's an immediate starter, and that scares me. That honestly does scare me that he went there. I think that could end up being the sneaky best free agent signing of all the free agency frenzy. But give me a moment. We'll talk about what the Colts have done so far. Okay, and now we're going to talk about what the Bills have done. Von Miller, Shaq Lawson, Jordan Phillips, O.J. Howard. They're definitely working to beef up the defensive line.
Yep.
J.D. McKissick threw the old boomerang at us, agreed to a contract, and then went and signed the same one with Washington. He doesn't like winning, so that's why he did that. That's my only theory.
Yep.
But it did give me an awesome opportunity to use the free agency continuum.
Yep.
So I was happy with that because like the one day I was like, good signing. That's a reasonable deal. He can be productive. And then the next day I was like, I can't believe Washington gave him that much money. It was the same contract. Same exact contract. It was so good. But Von Miller, I'm excited about. I know you said he's old, but the deal's
I said, 20 million.
6 years. He's getting $17.5 million for the first 4. It's voidable after the third, which is probably around the time he's going to retire. I would think he'll be 35, 36.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I just don't know what he gives you. Yeah, I just don't know what he gives you. I mean, he came up big in the playoff run last year, but like before that, things weren't really working out too hot. $17 million is a lot of money for a 33-year-old edge rusher. I don't know if he's, the Bills needed to do something. He's a big name. He is talented. We'll see if he can stay healthy and play up to that money is the question.
One of the things that I'm excited about with him isn't necessarily what he's going to do on game day, but what he can do for Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham.
That's true. That's
he can. I'm not saying you pay $17.5 million a year to a guy to educate, but I think he can be productive enough.
Yeah. Yep.
That and what he can do for our young,
JJ
young
Watt
talent
situation.
Right.
JJ Watt situation. Good locker room guy.
Be here,
give you something. Yep.
Play well and make these guys better is kind of like the goal of it all. But I don't know. Yeah. To me, for him, it seems like when he's motivated, he plays well, and he seems motivated right now. From what I've seen, I haven't seen any of his press conferences or anything, but he put out his little video that he's excited to come to Buffalo. He was one of the free agents who there was this rumor that was out that some well-known they said defensive studs who were veterans actually reached out, had their camp reach out to Buffalo prior to free agency and say, there's interest, just so you're aware. We're just letting you know. And it's now come out that Von Miller was one of them.
Yep.
And it should make you happy that it also came out from Ian Rappaport that Sean McVay called Von Miller just before he agreed with Buffalo and begged him.
I'm guessing that I didn't see the details, but I'm guessing they couldn't offer him the money that Buffalo was offering, and he was just trying to
I'm not sure,
pull on the heartstrings. I can't imagine. I mean, Jesus, I can't imagine they had $17 million to give to him. Although I guess they did just give Allen Robinson.
Yeah, they got a fucking.
They just print money out there.
Money tree. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. The NFL doesn't give a fuck what they do with the salary cap because they want football in Los Angeles that bad.
Yep.
So they're just spend whatever you want. Every 31 teams have a salary cap.
Yep.
The Rams do not. Well, apparently we can throw the Chargers into that mix too because
there's another one.
Yeah, it's just unlimited money. You're right. They print money in Los Angeles and they give it to whoever the hell they want. But no, I'm all in on the Von Miller signing. But honestly, side note, Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips, 2 former Bills, that's 2 big signings too. Shaq played his best season in Buffalo right before he signed his big contract. Ironically, he put out that tweet the day of legal tampering and said, the last 2 years have been different. He played for the Jets and the Dolphins.
No kidding.
So it wasn't great. You didn't have a good time there. But Jordan Phillips, I watched a portion of his press conference today, and he's just like, why wouldn't I want to be here? Look at who's in this locker room, the family atmosphere. I just love it. And on the side, OJ Howard, also serviceable tight end too behind Dawson Knox. That can make for
ton of talent. We'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah, I mean it's
anything around
having him and Dawson Knox lined up is nice. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
So
your division had a couple of good signings though.
The Dolphins made some moves that I thought were pretty good. I like the Chase Edmonds signing for Miami.
Yep. They grabbed Mostert for pretty cheap too. I think that's a heck of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And is Gaskin still there?
As far as no, didn't they trade him late in the year?
I don't think so. I think Gaskin was still there. That seems like a pretty good running back room. You add Teddy Bridgewater, that gives Tua some sort of competition. And the Jets signed Laken Tomlinson away from the Niners.
Miles Gaskin is still there. Yeah, the Jets picked up a few guys too that weren't.
I told Lobdell at golf on Friday night. I said, Laken Tomlinson, I felt was either going to be, the Dolphins and the Jets both needed him. There's a San Francisco ties there. The dude has just been a rock solid player for the 49ers. They wanted him back. They just knew that his market was going to go too crazy. Like, it just couldn't afford to pay him. So
Laken Tomlinson, Braxton Berrios came back.
Yep.
Tevin Coleman. Oh, CJ Uzoma. That's the other one that the tight end from Cincy.
They needed a tight end.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, they did make some moves. But yeah, Pats have been pretty low key. They spent so much fucking money last year that it was like, how the hell?
They're tight ends, yeah.
They're in New England, not Los Angeles, so they can only do that shit once in a great while. They got to let some of them contracts expire.
I mean, I got to tell you, that's as a Niners fan, this has been a pretty boring offseason for me. We got no draft picks coming up. The only thing we've done in free agency is restructure because we have no money. Can't trade Jimmy. Nothing's going on.
Darren says they'll get hurt. He'll get hurt.
If he's healthy, though, God, he's just, McDaniel's going to be able to use him. I just love the signing for $3 million.
Back to the Chargers too. They did some good things. I like the Khalil Mack trade. Him and Bosa lined up opposite each other.
That's pretty good. Yep.
That's pretty solid. Who else did they snag?
J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson. That's the one I was thinking of. Yep. So now you got him and Ward. Ward? No, Asante Samuel. Asante Samuel Jr. Yep. Yeah. So that defense should be much improved, but.
If they could only get a coach, they'd be in good shape.
He is really bad. And it's sad, too, because he's got some Mercyhurst ties, right? He coached at Mercyhurst.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's too bad.
I think he quarterbacked at Mercyhurst.
Oh, I think he started off coaching there, too.
He might have. I don't know. But all I know is I can see what's going on in his brain right now. Let me go out and get all these defensive studs. So when I go for it every fourth down and have to put the defense back on the field, I can say, at least we got some talent out there this year.
That's exactly it, though. I actually read an article about that where they're like, he likes to go for it on fourth down, so they're going to now have a defense who can maybe make a stand, when they need to. Yep. But, yeah, any other notes of free agency that I missed that you wanted to talk about? That
I don't think so. I mean, I touched on it a little bit. I still think the steal of free agency for me, well, up until they just Cleveland themselves away, was Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick. I think that was just – and then, of course, the Browns are going to Browns it away with their quarterback situation.
Well, and it makes me wonder, too, what all was going on inside that building, because as soon as Cooper gets there, Jarvis Landry's running for the door.
Well, they kind of knew that he was kind of on the fence anyway.
But doesn't that make you wonder, though, like, if he knew like some sort of implosion was about to happen and he just was like, I don't want any part of this organization?
I mean, I don't know. He was such good buddies with OBJ. I think that there's little seeds there. He hadn't been healthy. It's possible that he knew the implosion was coming. But I think more than anything, Cleveland, everyone thought Amari Cooper was just going to get cut.
If he
because they didn't want to pay the contract.
If he's ever paid any bit of attention to the history of the NFL, he should have known that an implosion was coming in Cleveland.
Yes. It's been too many years since something really bad happened.
Yeah.
But I do think, again, I just hope they figure out a quarterback situation now, because I just think Cooper's I don't know. I've always been a Cooper fanboy. I think that was a heck of a deal.
Real quick note, the upset alert for Gonzaga.
Yep. Gone.
They won by 21.
Nice. Yep. That's how those games usually go.
They were up 2 points with like 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's how those games usually go.
Jesus. All right. So I don't know. I think that's it. I think we're wrapped up here, aren't we?
I think so.
I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I want to thank the sponsors, Swing Juice, Busch Light. I'm pretty pumped about this.
As am I.
The Busch Light sponsorship's cool. I'm bragging like we know people, you know.
I'll make sure I get my Busch Light sign up behind me for the next episode.
I got Paul on. Paul's gonna get us some shirts too.
Perfect.
I said, you get us some Busch Light shirts, like we'll wear the fuck out of those things. For sure.
Absolutely.
Anyways, back to the rest of them. Pub 302, JP Photography, Your Daily Local, Jones Pest Control, Me, Myself, and Ride Podcast, Mean Sales and Service, and Blue Line Auto. We want to thank all you guys for being part of season 2 moving forward. Look forward to what's to come. We kind of laid everything out. Of course, this was a long episode. It was the first episode back. It won't be like this every week, but we'll get into, all the stuff we talked about and the new structure of the segments and everything and go from there. And then hopefully we'll have some, events like the match that we can get out there and do our thing. I got a long list of guests. I meant to actually leave that sitting here so I could read off of that, but maybe next week I'll get into some of the future guests that we have. Some Division I wrestlers, namely a national champ who's about to be embarking on a journey for his second national title. Jim Horton, like I said, for Chattanooga Sports Information Director. Some local ones I got. Well, of course, Brian's going to come on because we want to talk more about local sports. Sue and Piper from Allegheny Outfitters. I've been talking with them, having them come on prior to kayak season. There's a lot of people who love that. I'm going to reach out to Margot Lutzenheiser. I think I could get her on because she and her athletic director is a friend of mine too at Gannon. So we might be able to get both of them on, which would be pretty cool.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
And then Kelsey Stewart's playing some college softball at Penn State Du Bois, some people like that that I've reached out to and they've agreed. Nate Simon, working on that one yet, trying to iron out a date. He's from 21 Pineapples, which is a fantastic t-shirt company, supports Down syndrome awareness. If you've never checked them out, check out 21 Pineapples. Really, really cool. But that's all stuff that's to come. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Till next week, take care and be safe.